Woman gets $385 ticket for talking too loud on sidewalk. She said race is the reason.
I don't know about the race part, but refused to participate in an investigation.
So let's
Investigation.
So let's read this. All right, so Diamond Robinson says she was walking up and down Cushing Street where she lives. This is in East Point, Michigan, where she lives in East Point, talking on her phone Thursday. That was when she says one of her neighbors approached her. Excuse me. Robinson said the woman asked, "Do you think you can get off your phone or talk lower?" Really? If she's outside, why are you telling her to get off her phone? I can understand the lower part. Blah, blah, blah. One of those things she said, Robinson said, and I said, "Get out of my face," and I proceeded to walk past her. She is saying whatever she is saying. 3 minutes later, East Point police show up. So Robinson started doing a Facebook Live. Quote, "And I hope you know this is all being recorded," she said in the video to the officers. The woman who called the police had just moved to the neighborhood within a couple of weeks and is white. Robinson said she was targeted because she is black. Quote, "I'm not doing anything wrong by walking up and down the street talking on my phone," Robinson said in the video. But as Robinson continued to record, the police officers wrote her a ticket. Quote, "I got a ticket for being a public nuisance because I'm talking too loud on my phone," she said in the video. "That's why I got a ticket." And then here's a little clip from the ticket where it says public nuisance, 385, public nuisance. And the ticket isn't cheap. There's no, quote, "There's no way police should be called on me when I am on my own property, in my own neighborhood, on my own block," Robinson said. She said she plans to fight the ticket, and because she's so upset about the whole ordeal, she is now having security cameras installed outside her home. Good. Now you should, honestly. As far as broadcasting everything on the Facebook Live, she says she felt like she had no other choice. And you're still good. You're like, good thing you did that. Quote, "A lot of these things are being pushed under the rug, and they don't need to," she said. Quote, "We can sit here all day, and we can chant, we can riot, and we can do all of those things, but that's not going to make any change if we don't speak up at the moment." Okay?
I get what she was trying to say there.
Her message to the woman who called the police, quote, "Leave me alone. What's going on? Are you upset? What did I do to you?"
Okay, wait. Let me really read what she just said.
Go for
Leave
it.
me alone. What's going on? Are you upset? What did I do to you? It was all sarcasm. Did I upset you?
The neighborhood did not want to speak about the issue, but simply said the fine speaks for itself.
Now let me say one more thing. Let me say one more thing. There's no way that neighbor's not a bitch. The neighbor only has one quote in this whole thing. The fine speaks for itself. And even the neighbor who called the police, when you see the fine is $385, I would say, okay, I didn't expect it to be that much, or something along those lines.
A police officer was asked about the steep fine. He said she will have her day in court. What a safe response.
I don't think she was targeted for being raped. I don't think she was targeted for being black. But I'll say on her point to, we can chant, we can riot, and we can do all those things. It doesn't matter if we don't speak at the moment. In my mind, the way I saw it was, we can be mad about George Floyd, or one of us can actually try and push a cop off George Floyd. And so, like, it doesn't, all that chanting and all that shit or whatever, in situations like that, you know what I'm saying? And all that marching and everything is cool, but if you're not going to act in the moment when the moment presents itself, then what's the point? That's what I think she was trying to say. But in the same sentence, I do not believe race played a role. I don't know.
If she was white, I think it was just another one of those Karen moments.
Yeah, I don't think she would have got a ticket if she was white, though.
And like I said in our prep before the podcast, she's new to the freaking neighborhood.
And she would.
I want to know what the neighbors think. Like you said, was she loud? Is she known in the neighborhood as one of those loud mouth women? Like, I just want to know.
And then if that's the case, they would have brought up one of the neighbors saying either that, or they would have brought up a history of something. Like, she would have got this ticket before. That's what I'm saying. So
that honestly really helped with the argument. If they asked a couple neighbors, like, "Hey, we had this incident. What's your opinion on it?" "Oh, yeah, Robinson's always loud. She's always being blah, blah, blah." It's like, okay, then it's a genuine problem that this new person had to be the outsider to come in and do something. Because now, honestly, the reason why this is sad is because they're neighbors.
They're neighbors, 100%.
Now you got to see this person and interact with this person probably once in a blue moon. That's annoying.
And you know what's crazy?
Prank, it's gonna be nothing but prank wars. Like,
but do you know who the person who called the police is? The person who feels like the victim.
That's dumb.
But that's a fact. They were both going to their car at the same time. Who's moving a little quicker to get to their car?
The white lady.
Mm-hmm. And then I saw her today. She looked at me. She looked angry when she looked at me.
Bro, do you know why she looked angry at you?
No, they're not good at that part, Gene.
Maybe it's because you called the police, but
They're not good at that part, Gene.
Did you like? My only question is, I just want to know how loud she's talking. But even despite the fact about how loud she's talking, does that really justify you calling the police?
Unless she was screaming from the top of her fucking lungs outside
Even
your door.
still, like, are you really going to call the police?
Yeah.
Why?
Apparently.
This is I'm really not trying to go on a fucking white woman rant here, but like, why is this such a consistent thing among white women? Why do you have to call the police for everything?
They're used to pointing at shit and having somebody else get
everything. Dog,
the confusion on this lady's face, dog.
Dude, I have the same confusion. Dude. I really feel for her.
That's the
really
perfect Snapshot. She's like, "What? Are you upset?" like, look at her face, dog. She's like, "Really? Like, I'm out here in a bonnet on the phone."
She looks like the kid from E.T. with the red hoodie.
Oh yeah, she actually looks like E.T.
And it's funny because she was willing to talk to the news. The other lady wasn't.
Because she knows publicly you're the. Let me go there. I'm gonna stop. Let me stop. I'm really annoyed by this. Actually,
this is hilarious. This is really hilarious because of her face, dog. I'm trying to
from
tell
the
you.
fucking ticket. Like
she's like, whoa, is this a dream?
Fuck?
Do you know how many questions she probably really had for those cops?
This is clown world.
She's probably watching the cops like,
y'all really doing this? Like, this is really happening? Really?
Nah.
Like, I'm sure she's so fucking just confused.
Look
that,
at
like,
her.
the only thing she can come to is race, where she was just like, it has to be that.
So,
like,
time out.
Well, it's the only thing where this makes any fucking sense.
I agree. Now I'm starting to agree with her a little more when we talk about the race thing.
It's not racist, it's racial.
Okay, either way, I'm starting to agree with her about the race aspect because first I want to know what the color of the officer was. Was he also white? And the reason why I asked that question, the reason I asked that is because the cops weren't there when she was talking on the phone.
The ticket doesn't make sense.
So they're taking this white woman's at her word, and they wrote her a ticket on the word of a random
100%.
citizen, civilian
100%.
white woman over the civilian citizen black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because she's a black woman in a bonnet, Gene.
That's it?
I'm just saying the stereotype of that is loud.
I'm just annoyed. Like,
they probably pulled up, saw her in a bonnet, and was like, "Oh yeah,
This is the rare instance where I'm like, okay, this actually, I kind of see the race aspect of this a little bit. Like,
this is why I say it's
there's
racial.
no evidence.
This is why I say it's racial.
There's not a video showing of her on the phone. There's a video of her actually interacting with the police officers. So how do they know if she was actually loud or not?
Based on stereotype.
So are they doing a public nuisance because she was probably being, annoying in the interaction of the cops being there? Does that justify a ticket then?
Nope. It don't stop nobody from writing it. Gene itching his neck. Gene is
maybe he got off the
itching
car
his
and she
neck.
was just screaming. He was just like, "Oh, I believe it." Like,
yep.
Oh wow, dude. That's
they act like they pulled up and she was twerking on a car, and goddamn, like, you know what I'm saying, like. That's why I don't think anybody in this situation was racist. You get me? But I believe that if she was a different race, it could have went a different way.
You can make the argument. I'm sorry. I feel like you can make that
I get what you're saying.
now.
I don't think the lady called the cops. Okay, for example, the lady wasn't scared of this black girl because she felt comfortable enough to walk up to her.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just I hate all black people type of thing because that's racist to me. But when you let stereotypes...
I'm talking about the cops. The lady, you're right.
Yeah,
but the
that's
cops,
what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. That right there, that's...
And we go back to the history of training.
What are you doing?
Then we go back to the history of training.
Doing?
We go back to the history of training. We go back to the history of what you're used to encountering.
She should fight this. She should win this. Like, hands down, she should win this.
If she was smart, when the cops arrested me, I would have peed my pants. Right there. I would have shit and peed everything right there.
Why?
This is too much stress for me. I'm suffering right now. I can't even control my bodily functions because you guys have me terrified. Terrified.
I wonder how he got the call too, because that honestly, like, if I was the cop that went to do that,
fuck dispatch too, by the way.
Somebody was laughing at me. I'd be like, this motherfucker sent me to go do this shit. I'd be like in a rowdy ass mood at my boss or something like that, because you have to know like what you're showing up for. And somebody's like, "Hey, we got a lady being too loud on the street." Yeah, fucking go, Simmons. Ha. And then you actually have to go. Like, what do? You just show up and be like, "Hey, man, can you Can you keep it down, please?
Were
Like,
you
this
being
guy was
loud 5
probably
minutes ago?
rowdy on the get-go.
Were you being loud 5 minutes ago?
No. Okay.
I'll bet you this. At the very least, the cops didn't catch her being loud. The reason why, if she saw the cops approaching, no matter what, she would have engaged and looked and seen what the fuck they were going or where they were going. Nobody sees the cops coming because she didn't know the cops were coming for her. She said 3 minutes later, cops pull up.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Yep.
So she's probably looking at the cops, probably just still continuing her conversation or whatever it was, and just watching. She probably got quiet.
She's probably
Hold on,
angry
girl.
in that moment, so she
Hold on,
might
girl.
have been more loud. But still, does
But
that
when
really
they got out the car, that's when I would have got loud. What do you, for me? Oh, I would have, I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't even talk to the police. I would have been talking to that lady that whole time from wherever I was.
This goes back to the joke that we said before. Like, sometimes, bro, we just gotta some kind of lawful fighting. Like, I want to put my right for a one-on-one duel. That lady and me, we got something to hash out real quick.
If not, and this is the thing.
Police
okay,
officer,
cool.
you get to watch this.
You
Make
got
sure
two
it escalate.
options. You give me this $1 million, or you fight me.
Yeah.
You got $1 million in spare? Come on.
Let's
it to
go.
me. I don't need to fight you no more. But you ain't got it. I mean, if you a penny short,
we fight.
we in the ring. We
Drop
in the
square.
ring. And the police need to escort you to the match.
Drop the square. Let's settle our differences.
Right fucking now. 'Cause I bet you. That's why I say people drive. They don't walk how they drive.
What do they call it in back in the day when they used to
Duels?
Yeah, the duels to prove their innocence.
Oh, it's the fucking trial by combat?
Trial by combat.
Okay. What's up, guys? Thanks for watching a clip of Fake Deep Thinking. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Full episodes of Fake Deep Thinking are released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Check it out.